Follow me, don't follow me. I've got my spine, I've got my alien crush. Welcome back to Lycanthrope Keith's Gaming Space, and today I'm going to be playing one of the TurboGrafx games I had just shortly after buying the system, Alien Crush. For those who are not familiar with this was the original game in the Crush series of pinball games, the most famous one being Demon's Crush or Devil's Crush, depending on where you picked it up. The Alien Crush game, as well as all the other Crush games, had a pretty simple premise, which was pinball on a living table. Alien Crush, as you can tell, was themed off after things like Ridley Scott's Aliens and stuff you might encounter out in space with some creepy skulls and such thrown in, and so on and so forth. The sequel Devil's Crush, known in the Japan as Devil Crash, focused more on demons and druids and was famous for the woman in the center of the field who became a reptilian monster. The series actually moved from the TurboGrafx onto the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, becoming, with Devil Crash MD and Dragon's Fury, which did some censorship into the North American versions. There was a follow-up game only released in Japan for the Super Famicom called Jackie Crush, which revolved around Japanese mythology, primarily demons and onis. The Genesis saw a sequel to Dragon's Fury called Dragon's Revenge, which was not well received, and the Wii Virtual Console had as WiiWare Alien Crush Returns, which was a sequel/remake of this original game. So overall, the Crush series, sometimes Crash series, has moved through a lot of decades and seen a lot of inspiration. But today we're going to be beginning from the beginning. So before we yell game over, man, it's game on, man. Now let me just... I'm going to go ahead and reset here. And slow speed, because I handle everything at slow speed. Two versions of music. I'm going to show them both off. Now, I had actually played this a long time ago on my regular Twitch gaming stream. This was actually one of the games I did in my inaugural TurboGrafx session, which was fitting because, as I mentioned before, it was one of the first games I had for the Turbo. But I decided to go ahead and re-record it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't manage to hit all the bonus areas when I was doing the recording, and I really wanted to show them all off. Second, the discussion with the Twitch faithful, and believe me, I love them, and this was an awesome discussion, went on for quite a while about my medical maladies, to the point where I couldn't really come up with a good place to cut the video where it wasn't seeming like I was going to be complaining to the YouTube folks about my current state of health, which was better than it was versus the time we were talking about. So I decided it would be better overall just to go ahead and do a re-recording and just leave my personal stuff out of it. But for those who are wondering, I am doing well, hanging in fairly well overall. Anyway, so one bit of trivia I actually found about the Virtual Console. Both Alien Crush and Devil's Crush, TurboGrafx-16 versions, were ported to the Virtual Console when... Uh-oh. I cannot believe I saved that. That was sheer luck. That wasn't. But they were both ported to the Virtual Console when Nintendo gained the rights to the TurboGrafx library from Hudson, I believe it was. Had the rights to that at that point. Alien Crush did go through some censorship, mainly the pentagrams that were in it, or I'm sorry, Devil's Crush, I mean. The pentagrams that were in it were replaced with 8-sided stars. I'll leave it up to you as to, you know, what you think of the validity of that. Considering the pentagram isn't even supposed to be a satanic symbol. Oh, for God's sakes. I love how I mentioned something not being a satanic symbol, and then that's the next word out of my mind. Or next phrase out of my mouth, whatever. Oh, come on! I can keep this up as long as it takes, game. And like typical pinball, you can match for another attempt at the game. And nothing doing as far as a spot on the high scores. Alright, let's try this again now that the failure montage is over with. Or maybe it isn't. Well, and the game takes mercy on me because I did so badly. I don't remember if real pinball tables did that, or if only at least some of them did. Oh, that worked. Okay, first bonus stage, the Dragon Worm. This one is actually not too bad. It is at least controllable. The key here is to try to keep the ball from going too much opposite of the direction you want it, and wait to shoot it until the dragon is back out and moving around. So, very slow movements of the flippers here is what you want, and I think I'm in trouble. No, I'm not. Okay. As you can see, if you hit the head, the segments will go flopping around all over the place. There are several of those dragons you have to beat to win the bonus round. I think either 4 or 5. Amusingly enough, I found very little information on this game as far as like a game fact or something. No one's ever seen fit to write one, apparently. Or if they did, I didn't find it. So one thing I did ended up talking about on the stream that I didn't want to get lost just because I was re-recording was some discussion about pinball itself. A really great reference I've read is The Ultimate History of Video Games by Stephen Kent. If there's only one flaw in it, it's not the book's fault, and that is it cuts off just before the release of the Xbox. But it goes into a great deal of detail about the predecessors of video games. Hold that thought. Shit. Well, the idea was to hit those things and knock them into the holes. Yeah, I know. I also lost my bonus pride, but, you know, I'd never had much of that to begin with. Okay, this one is very awkward. You have to hit those bumpers and turn the lights on. The lights can turn on either red or green, and I don't really know which one counts for the completion. I've never been clear on that. But the idea is you want to maneuver around the bumpers and try not to let the ball get out of control. And those floating bumpers are going to do their best to screw things up for you. Try to angle it back in there. I thought I would have had that with them. And I think I know. I thought I almost had that when it came in there. I thought it was going to dip low enough. This is one of the more challenging bonus stages because you have things that are going to send the ball out of control that you can't anticipate. The skulls and the aliens are very similar to that because they will just ricochet the ball all over the damn place. Come on, we'll get there. I think this is the best I've ever done in this bonus stage. I think if I could have hit that again, maybe I would have had it. Ooh. Ah! I didn't catch it fast enough. Anyway, some of the early origins of pinball were pretty interesting. The earlier versions were much more akin to pachinko machines than anything. They weren't intended as straight-out gambling devices, but in a roundabout way it happened because by getting a certain amount of points on the pinball game, you could earn yourself free games, and some bar owners were in the habit of exchanging free games for actual money. Shit! I've at least gotten one. And a lot of the reason why pinball ended up with that stigma, for one, the flippers weren't actually added to pinball machines until 1967. The very first game to have those was a game by Gottlieb called Humpty Dumpty. But that was where the skill aspect finally came in. They had things like electronics and bumpers, and there was a one of the return holes in the center to take the ball and shoot it back out. But it was still perceived as basically throw quarters in, try to win. Throw quarters in, try to win, and if the bartender was disreputable, you know, you got some cash out of it. The thing you can really thank for pinball getting the stigma it did was Fiorello LaGuardia, at that time the mayor of New York. And yes, LaGuardia, as in LaGuardia Airport, that LaGuardia. Oh, Slimer and his friends here. Pretty much it's just getting rid of them. Doing that can be kind of tricky, but the good thing is because you have some of them dipping so low, you can just kind of bounce the ball back and forth, and it'll just kind of smack into them over and over. You do have to be careful that it doesn't go too far. And once one of them loses all of his alien buddies, he'll start free roaming around the screen, and then a few shots will take him out. But he's invincible until all of them are gone. But anyway, LaGuardia had done a lot of really good things for New York. The unified transit system, building low-cost housing, parks, airports, obviously. There are actually two to his credit, I think. One named after him and one named after something else, I forget what. He was also very involved in getting rid of crime. He was one of the few people willing to take on the infamous Tammany Hall, Boss Tweed's political and crime organization. And also he was pressing for the New York district attorney to prosecute Lucky Luciano. And he went right after Luciano, especially trying to get rid of the illegal slot machines that he had running. Problem was, in the midst of his passion, the pinball machines got lumped in with them. There is a very famous incident of he and his troops, New York police officers really, but also, you know, task force, rounding up a ton of pinball machines, and him smashing them with a sledgehammer. and then throwing the pieces into New York City rivers. Let's see, in the early 1940s, LaGuardia banned pinball in New York altogether. A lot of other American cities followed suit. LA did it in 1939. Chicago did it in 1946. Looking down my notes here. Yes, I took notes on this. Ah, damn it, because I want to give a good presentation. In fact, there's actually a town called Kokomo, Indiana, that did not repeal the ban on pinball until December of 2016. Yeah, as you can see, you can tilt there. What it finally took to get the ban repealed, at least in New York City, was a gentleman by the name of Roger Sharp, who is a member of the AMOA, American Musicians, Entertainment Operators. I forget exactly what it stands for, but basically it was a union of musicians and amusement operators, who was also a big pinball fanatic. Now, Sharp himself wasn't the only thing that made that caused the turnaround for pinball. The other thing would be the invention of the flippers, and that was in, like I said, 1967, Humpty Dumpty. Sharp went before a committee in a New York City courtroom and claimed that pinball was not just a game of luck, it was a game of skill, and that he could use the flippers and his own skill to place the ball anywhere he wanted. And he proceeded to demonstrate that over several shots. God damn it! Unlike I did, he was able to put the ball wherever he wanted. At least I got a couple this time. Showing them that skill was involved in pinball and not just blind luck. By this time, because of the ban, most bar owners and amusement places had stopped trading free games for money, so that aspect of the stigma was gone. But yeah, him doing that, and actually he did once call a shot like Babe Ruth, according to him, was what convinced the New York legislature to repeal the ban. And a lot of American cities followed suit. There were some places, like Kokomo, that didn't quite get getting in with the program. But for the most part, pinball had become legal to play. Yeah. It was a little bit suspect to a lot of people when coin operation was added to pinball machines. But yeah, that was preceding the flippers, so that didn't help. But you had to make money off them somehow. Damn it. One other kind of sub note to that. Now I live in Maryland, as some people might know, and Maryland actually had a law on the books for a long time, making pinball illegal to play if you were a minor. Now, there are a lot of useless laws that Maryland has on the books, and a lot of useless laws that all states have on the books. For all I know, I'm pretty sure it's still illegal to get oral sex in Maryland. But there is a representative, State Delegate Eric Luiotke, I believe that's how his name is pronounced, who makes a side hobby. Every year he looks for a useless law in the books and tries his damnedest to get it repealed. I'll go Demon Zungel at this time. So in 2017 he took up that challenge when a teenage girl, 17 years old by the way, Was at a place called Crabtown, USA in Glen Burnie, Maryland, which has extensive amounts of pinball machines and a full-fledged arcade. Needless to say, it's one of my favorite places to go, and when the Corona insanity dies down, I'm heading back. But she was amazed to find out that that law was actually on the books. Now the thing is, it's one of those laws that's not really enforced by anybody, and he knew the delegate. The delegate knew of nobody that, as far as an arcade owner, that had been fined over it. So he's like, why the hell was this existing? So I checked to see exactly how how his crusade went, and as of 2018, from what I was able to find, it is still illegal in Maryland for a minor to play pinball. And it still doesn't make sense why. They've long since proven that it's all about skill and it's not gambling. There are apparently some legislatures that are pending or have been passed by now that lump in the licenses of arcade games, claw machines, skee-ball machines, anything like that that dispenses tickets or prizes with electronics gambling devices like electronic slot machines. And it's got arcade owners are really nervous about it because it means a whole new set of licenses that they have to buy. Even if they have like a claw machine that's that potentially will dispense like GoPro cameras or Beats headphones or some things like that, that can fall under the margin. Supposedly, it's anything that has a potential prize of $30 or over. So I'm not really sure where that is. There are actually at least 3 arcades on the Ocean City Boardwalk that have just now opened because the some of the restrictions have gone, but they're concerned about how they'd be able to operate with the extra fees. Especially if it could potentially cut off... Especially if it could potentially cut off some of their younger clientele from playing those machines. So, strangeness all around. And that is my dissertation on the wonderful history of pinball. And back to the dragon. Okay. I'm trying to remember exactly which bonus scenes there are, if there's something we haven't seen yet. Because I remember the dragon, I remember the spinning aliens and their satellite pals. I remember the lights. I remember the skulls and the blobby aliens. I think that might be all. But I wouldn't put it past my memory to forget something. See, I did all this wonderful historical research on pinball for your amusement while you watch this, and now I can't remember some things about the goddamn game itself. I have a feeling that it may be just those 4 bonus stages, so... But we're gonna go at least one more game after this and see if anything else crops up, especially if I can't get a couple of things, because I know there are some things that happen if I hit certain objects on the play field enough. Specifically the brain and the 2 bumpers down on the lower table. Or lower half of the table, I should say. Damn it. Say, yes. I stand by every misstatement I've made. So you gotta, as far as the brain, you gotta take a few good cracks at it to get it and open, and that is not the configuration I want to do it with. Neither is that. Those two bumpers down on the bottom, yeah, they do crack open if you hit them enough. Mother of Pearl, get in the orange oscillating tendril thing. Get inside the tendrils, you know you want to. Okay, the tendrils are going to chill for a bit. Some of those, when the ball is coming down towards the flippers in the lower level, it's not always easy to tell if it's going to head towards the left flipper or the right flipper. And I have had instances where I've lifted both of them at the same time and it's knocked the ball away completely. Yeah. Needless to say, I want the ball in the upper part as much as possible, not just because I'm trying to target the brain, but also it's less likely that I'm going to dink it into the eternal abyss down there. There are a lot of hungry alien mouths on this table, yeah. I never really noticed just how similar they look to each other. Okay, Slimers again. Have to be a little bit careful. Actually, you have to be a lot bit careful. TurboGrafx-16 bit careful. I can't believe that dodged him completely. As you can see, without their little buddies, they start roaming around, and they don't like it when they get hit. But you know what? It ain't for them to like. Yes, one down. I swear to God, I'm going to get one of these bonus games. I will win one of these bonus games. Ooh. Yes! Woohoo! Yes! Greatness! Oh, good. I am somewhat satisfied with my performance today. Usually the one that I have the easiest time getting is the dragon. Because it's one of the easiest to control the ball. And the dragon also has a tendency to wander into the shots very often. Oh, a little too early. Yeah, the TurboGrafx, by the way, has kind of an interesting control setup for this. Big bonus there. And I think this is a bonus stage, too. Or not. Perfectly fine. But yeah, the control pad is actually for the left flipper. The rightmost button on the controller is for the right flipper, and the other button can tilt the machine, which is I can sort of see it the way it's set up there, because it would be a lot more awkward if you had to keep the your fingers on the button controls so closely. Ah, shit. Well, no problem. We've still done a pretty good amount of damage to that brainium up there. And we fucked up the bumpers for it. Those things are getting close to cracking. Yep. Okay. Back to this shit again. This would be a little bit easier if it wasn't for the goddamn bumpers. The bumpers make it so hard to keep ball control in this stage. The other thing is to dink, I said dink again, I don't know why. To get one of these things into the pits, you really have to get them red while they're right near the pits, which is not always the easiest task in the world. You get a little bit of leeway, not much. I got a few. That's a hard one to get everything on. That and the lights are my two worst. I will break open that brain, so help me. If I don't break open the brain on this regular playthrough, I will keep playing this later and add in footage of breaking the brain. Because I will have this be seen. This I vow. Oh, and speaking of the lights. When the lights go down in the city, and all my hope goes away. That is a nice mellow music. I do like that. Yeah, this game has really cool music. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think the damage status of stuff like the brain and the bumpers, well, hell, I think the damage status might be repaired when you go to a bonus stage. So that's another problem of trying to get the thing cracked. Yeah, they repair. If I could just get it bouncing off that top bumper several times. Well, I do like the way the bumpers blink when you hit them. Just gives you that extra touch of this is a living being. Some folks have likened this to basically like Ripley fighting an alien with her pinball skills. But yeah, I mean, if you go on that theory that the table is alive, it's like the Who meets Ridley Scott. And back to lack of brain damage. Lunatic is in my head. Come on. God damn it. They just do not... Yeah. They just don't. just before I forget, by the way, that that book by Stephen Kent, The Ultimate History of Video Games, is available on Amazon, I know for sure. It's a great read. And the guy I mentioned also, who did the pinball test, Roger Sharp, has he's written at least one or two books about pinball also, I believe. So yeah, if you want to not do that, yeah, if you want to, for further reading. Alright, class dismissed, but you know, anybody wants to stay extra and watch me, stay behind and watch me do this, extra credit. That is one severely cracked bumper. Oops, I think that stays open. I may or may not lose the bonus from that. Nom nom nom, spit. Okay, yeah. But, there we go, it'll shut off again. Yeah, something I didn't mention before, by the way, the best strategy for the dragon worm here, I want to try to get the head first, because things get very tricky with the segments wandering around in different places than the head. It can be kind of disorienting. You have all of the segments going different places, but I've had more than one occasion where a segment has knocked me off course and into the pit when I should have had a clear shot at the head, and I don't believe that happened. Not so much that I missed the dragon, I don't believe it didn't go into the pit. Well, there. That's what I get for opening my yap. And the bumpers are restored again. I'm purposefully not saying what happens because, you know, the first time I saw it, it was pretty cool. And back to the dragon. Man, I am just in a rut here. I am dragon ass. Oh, I didn't get the dragon everything. I just blew some segments off. I can live with that. Yeah, as you would expect with regular pinball, you know, ball control is everything here. I don't really know for sure if there's a pattern as to which hole the dragon comes out of first, or when it goes back in, which one it's going to come out of. I find it's easy enough just to react to it, so I really don't worry too much about trying to figure out patterns. I'll probably hit that. Wow, I'm kind of amazed. Shit. I'll shake the table in rage. I'm still doing pretty good. I've been working on this one ball for a while, and why did I say that? I should know not to say things like that. And a couple of shots on the brain. Get some more brain damage there, or I was about to say drain damage, and then... Ow! I was about to say drain damage, and then my brain actually corrected it for me. I'm like, no, fuck you, brain. I'm trying to make a joke here. My brain doesn't want me to be funny or successful, apparently. Well, that was just pathetic. I hate the thought that just crossed my mind that I might have to start save stating to break the brain. I've done it before on a regular system and card. How pathetic am I that this might be what I have to resort to? Okay, I thought that was going into the well of doom for a second. Okay, no bonus rounds, so they may not have repaired themselves. There. Okay, that's a configuration I haven't seen before. Okay, they didn't repair themselves. No! You fucker. You backlogging fucking fucker. Hey! That doesn't happen that often. Okay, let's see if we can turn our luck around, shall we? We've got one more ball to do it with. Just keep turning those damn things. Okay, that was a hit at the brain. I hit the brain. It's one of those things you didn't expect to hear when you woke up this morning, huh? God damn it, I know I hit the brain. Oh, you dick. Here. Son of a bitch. Well, you know, at least put our initials in. Pretend like we're in an arcade and this matters. Alright, folks. Well, that is that for Alien Crush. Like I said, I am going to go back and attempt to break the brain and the bumpers, because I definitely want to show them off. So I'm just going to do this outside of the main recording and tack it on at the end. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for coming to Pinball History 101. And thank you all for joining and watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if it was amusing and educational to you. And in the meantime, thank you very much, and I will see you later until we game again.